All right. So let's talk about what Jacqui Lambie was doing today. Now, look, I love a crossbench, and that sometimes means that a crossbench does put its foot down. Sometimes it means computer says no. But I'm not thrilled with the idea that, OK, she voted already against the ensuring integrity legislation for the unions. If she wants to vote against it again, that's fine. She can have a principled position saying, I'll vote against it because of that. But that's not what she was saying today. Instead, what she was saying today, one more time, is, well, if you don't hand over the document in relation to sports rorts, then I'll vote down the laws in relation to unions. Roll the tape.
If I can't show integrity up here and do the right thing, why would I be voting for an ensuring integrity bill? I'm getting to the point where I'm thinking, well, if you can't discipline your own and you can't show integrity, then maybe it's about time we put these talks on hold with ensuring integrity until we see some discipline going on here, and until we see that report.
Can you know what you think at any time about that? But Bronwyn, how do you feel? Because look, this is negotiating, I understand. But she's got form, which was only a few weeks ago. She voted against the legislation because she didn't like it. That's fine. Principle. But say that's the reason you're going to vote against it if you're going to vote against it. You don't say I'm voting against it because this piece of paper is not going to be handed to a Senate inquiry that already has access to the Auditor-General, who will have plenty of muck to pour about this not being up to bureaucrat standards.
Look, I don't see any reason why that report can't be released. Sure, it was only to see whether or not ministerial codes had been breached. That's what it was found. It should be 2 pages at the best. It doesn't need to be lengthy. Jacqui is using this as a method of getting attention, saying, I'm here, I've got the numbers, this is real politics. Fact of life, they need her. So she's just having a pound of flesh and getting some coverage that she hasn't had for a while.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that.
Well, OK, but Nicholas, it's this thing. Look, it looks like she'll probably vote against this thing because she did last time. I don't know where Pauline Hanson's going to fall this time. However, she did have a principled reason for voting against it, which was particularly the role of administrators being used in the wrapping up of unions. That's what she said, both on and off the air, about why she'd vote against it. But how do you feel about, I mean, let's imagine it's not Jacqui Lambie, it's Sterling Griff. Let's imagine it's not Sterling Griff, let's imagine it's Pauline Hanson. Let's imagine it is any of the crossbench who say, unless you do this, no.
But that happens all the time.
So can I begin by saying how much I always enjoy it when I completely agree with what Bronwyn just said?
Oh, how good is it?
They should release the report by Phil Gaetjens. And yes, Jacqui Lambie was grandstanding today. But, you know, then again, why wouldn't she? I mean, the government is asking her to pass a bill called Ensuring Integrity because they're going after unions. At the same time, they're not displaying much integrity because of their refusal to release the report. I mean, the big news out of Canberra today, the really substantive story today, was the fact that the Auditor-General was before the Senate and he gave evidence that that document in question was changed dozens of times, and there was dozens of email correspondence back and forth from Bridget McKenzie's office to the Prime Minister's office. And when they asked advisors why there were so many changes occurring and why the document went back from the Prime Minister's office to the Minister's office so many times, they weren't able to provide
well, that's
an
a nice
answer.
segue,
So
Nicholas.
this has got a long, long way to go still, this story.
That's a nice
and
segue.
that's the big story out of Canberra today.
Do you think there's going to be many barbecues this weekend, Michael, that are going to be held up by this?
Yeah, indeed. Look, Paul, this is a really, really disappointing performance by Jacqui Lambie. I mean, first of all, for a Tasmanian senator to complain about a situation where largesse of government funds was bestowed upon her state, as it used to be under Brian Harradine, and I mean, it's ridiculous. But look, these are 2 completely separate issues. You are talking about a legal administration of a fund where no illegality was found.
Correct.
That's what's happening in relation to the sports rorts issue, allegedly. But in relation to the Ensuring Integrity Bill, this is a bill designed to give the courts power to cancel the registration of a rogue union that defies court orders repeatedly, that stops union officials with criminal backgrounds acting as union officials. The 2 things are completely unrelated, and you're talking about seriously bad behaviour by trade unions and their officials in this ensuring integrity bill. And I'd have to say to Jacqui, for goodness sake, Jacqui, a lot of your core voters in Tasmania are blue-collar working men and women who would loathe the CFMEU and would be very unhappy at you voting against a piece of legislation designed to bring these rogues, you know, to heel.
Now, I've got to say, I suspect there's something else at play here, Michael. She's got the power. That the use of the word ethical or whatever was so contrived it didn't matter. There's got to be some other reason why she doesn't want to vote for the bill, and she's using this as cover. I mean, that's the way politics works. You know it, I know it.
Well,
and I think it's worth... discovery is a very interesting thing to do. I think it's about time somebody did some work and found out why Jacqui Lambie doesn't want to vote for the bill. What's happened? Has a union got to her? What has happened? Because it's not a simple story that's being put forward as it is.
All right, you get the last say on this, Nicholas, because I'm almost done with the Chinese order.
Sure, Paul.
Bit of Mongolian land.
Mongolian land.
You're calling outrage. You're calling outrage on Jacqui Lambie because she's playing hardball.
Not calling outrage. I'm saying, come on.
Well, okay. Well, why aren't you calling outrage over Maurice Payne playing hardball with Centre Alliance and Rex Patrick over that submarine maintenance contract? Now, the government has threatened to send that submarine maintenance work to Western Australia if the South Australians, Centre Alliance, don't support them on this ensuring integrity bill. That's hardball politics going on right there. And if you're outraged about Jacqui Lambie, you should be outraged about Maurice Payne and the PM trying that on Centre Alliance in the South.
Mate, I am not wildly outraged about more jobs going to Australians. All right, as long as an Australian ends up with it, I'm fine. All right, that's fine by me. This is a $50 billion thing. The pork barrelling in South Australia has gone on for an incredibly long period of time.